Most people, of course, would know you from the originals, which is a fantasy show. It's a fantasy-based show. The one thing that I guess I would like to know, it does tend to cover a lot of different time periods. Is there a particular time period that you'd like for the show to kind of venture into?
We were sort of doing Middle Ages stuff, which I thoroughly enjoyed in the show. I'm trying to think. I wish we explored more time period stuff. I was saying this in the last interview. I think that's one of the great strengths of the show, because inevitably when you end up looking at the past, you end up looking at the present, right? So if there's a theme that you go back into the past to look at, and there's a particular scrutiny placed on a protagonist, then you're sort of congruently looking at the protagonist in modern day and seeing whether or not they've overcome that obstacle that they used to face so long ago. It's the whole motif of Highlander. It's the reason that Highlander was so good. I love that. No, but I love that idea of leaping back in time. But people, even if they live thousands of years, are still dealing with the same demons.
Same mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Making the same. You've directed, written, and starred in an episode. Is that right? How did you find that experience?
Challenging. Yeah, it was really difficult, especially because it was so specifically geared towards the character of Elijah.
Is it tricky, I guess, for an actor to be able to direct themselves, to be able to sort of, I guess, escape from your own head, to then say, this is how I want me to be?
I don't find that very hard. That stuff's easy, because actually it's the greatest sort of freedom you'll feel on the set. Like, the acting's the last of your concerns when you're directing. You're like, oh, I have to get up and do a scene now. It's fine. It's kind of it's what I'm accustomed to. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, because those muscles are so sort of like in shape. It's almost easy, and I'm fortunately, when I am in a scene, I'm usually pretty present, so I can be present in the scene and not think about anything else. Yeah. Then when the scene has to end and I have to call cut, I have to think about everything that went wrong and try and dig around in my brain to what we could change and what we could adjust.
Yeah. So it's the once you hit cut, and then it's sort of going back, and then I guess critically analysing, the stuff that you've done and working out what you might need to tweak and what you might need to make better. I guess that's the tricky part of the directing aspect.
Yeah, it's all tricky. Directing's all tricky, but it's tricky fun. It's like, it's fun because it's tricky. It's the difficulty is the joy. It's never perfect, and there's never a perfect take. It's never perfectly right. It's the same as all art.
Would you want to do it again?
Oh, I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
I ought to.
Elijah's got some of these quirks, I guess, that he has. He's got a thing about handkerchiefs. Loves handkerchiefs. Was that something that you sort of brought into the character, or was that something written in for the character?
I don't know if he has a thing about handkerchiefs. He just has handkerchiefs. Yeah, I brought it in. If you do something with a particular flourish, unfortunately, sometimes that becomes the thing that, the writers see you do something and then they write it 10,000 times thereafter.
Yeah, sure.
So you have to really be pushing the envelope to show them something new. The problem is, writers typically, you have to really bully your way into allowing them to let you do something new. For me, I've always found it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, and just go and do a new thing. Yeah. Because if you ask to do something that you've never seen from the character before, they'll start telling you about, I don't know if your character would do that, and you start to think, the brat inside you says, what do you know about my character that I don't know? Like, when, for example, I notice that fans are outraged by something Elijah has done or does, you usually feel that outrage too. If you feel like something is violently incongruous with something that you've built, that I have built over the past 8 years of playing this character, you start, is it 2010? No, I'm sorry, I'm going into 7 years. So it's like you can feel when something's like, this doesn't feel like who he is. And if it's really woven into the fabric of the episode, there's fucking nothing you can do about it. You just got to do your job. And unfortunately, the resistances that you felt to it, especially if it's a larger puzzle piece. I can move much smaller pieces, but if it's a larger piece of of furniture in the room, you can't move it. And if you felt that refrigerator should have really been over there but it's stuck over there, then the fans, unfortunately, the supporters of the show, attack you as violently as they attack the writers.
Yeah. Is this your first time for a convention here in Australia?
Yeah, and I feel so privileged to be here. My sister lives here with her wonderful husband and son, and I'm able to visit them, and I just love Melbourne. I think it's just such a beautiful city. I think it's just a perfect city to host a con like this.